The Call of the Ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family. The day your family line started. The day when you remember all your ancestors. Which in this case is really just grandfather, isn't it? Luckily, I mean, no one's died since then, but you know. Although who knows, maybe he'll actually respect me now that I've pulled myself up by my bootstraps and became a noble of the mantle. With all my hard work. Anyways, tonight everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath. All the while, the heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it. Oh dear, I beg of you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot join us anyway? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Roberts. Late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze, but at that moment your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. Ah, Nathan. I'm late. I'm not late, am I? Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father Brian, it's time, let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine in the middle of it. Stands a magnificent stone tomb containing the long-decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. Just as a side note, it's like, I mean, obviously, I know the most about my own life in this game, because every event, I'm the center of it, because it's about my life. But, like, I've got a serious question, because, like, I turned out great. I'm an amazing judge. What the heck went wrong with Nathan? Like, how did he become just such a loser? Sorry for the strong words, but, sheesh. Like, shape up, Nathan. Come on. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. Oh, okay, so all of the ancestors. That's a lot of people. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. Alright, been a while.
It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the Empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will?
Father rises from his knees and makes his way toward Grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way.
Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not the head of this family.
Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. As I can side with father, bring up the unity, lose a bit of willpower, Stefan won't be happy, but Robert will be. I can support Stefan's superiority. Unity down, diplomacy up, willpower up, and Stefan will really appreciate it. Or I can step forward myself. Oh boy. Stefan will disapprove, Robert will disapprove, Gregor will appreciate it, and ooh, that valor, that sweet valor I would get. Like, that would just max out my valor right here and now. Tempting. And Gregor would appreciate it, however, he is dead, so I'm not necessarily sure how much I particularly care what he thinks of me. Because, as I said, he is dead, so yeah, it's not as if he wouldn't really be a friend in high places, unless you consider heaven a high place. Well, I was gonna say, he did burn down a house and tried to kill his, daughter-in-law and grandchildren, so, maybe he isn't in heaven, come to think of that. Although, who knows how that works in this world, and he certainly fulfilled his lot, so maybe he is at, what do they call it, the top of the pillar, the head of the pillar? Anyways. What are you doing here? I find it interesting that this doesn't actually hurt my relationship with Robert. I'm just on principle. Look, Stefan, you are the heir, but you're not the head of the family yet. And gaining a bit of unity, I think, will be important. Unity is tough to come by. I actually think I'll value this. Well, here's the thing. Like, we get a lot of... We're seeming to get a lot of opportunities to increase our stats further. I'm not actually sure getting to maximum valor right now is going to be all that useful to us. Because what that'll probably just mean is future events that give us, 1 or 2 valor that we might want to pick just aren't going to be effective. Or at least that's how I'm seeing this right now. I think... for example, the diplomacy. We came into this with 16 diplomacy. We could get 20 right now if we wanted. But we'll side with father on this. You block Stefan's way. Your ponderous voice fills the dark crypt. You demand that your brother step back. The head of your family is your father, Robert Brante, and so it will be as long as he lives. Could your brother have forgotten that he is part of the noble lot to acknowledge and honor seniority? Or it is part of the noble lot, yes. Your father is the man who must hear and accept your ancestors' will. Stefan tries to maintain his composure, but even in the dark you can see his face twitch. Brother, you don't understand. I'm not defying father's seniority, but I am the man who bears this duty to our grandfather. I cannot remain a mere witness while the future of our blood tide runs through our fingers. You resolutely push your brother to one side. Whether he wants to or not, he will give way to the head of the family. Father catches his breath and approaches grandfather's tomb.
So it's you, Robert. Have you come to disappoint me yet again? Stefan is right. I have not put my hopes in you for quite some time. If anyone will lead the Brante family to glory, it will be my grandson.
Stefan clenches his fist and whispers something to himself.
I am doing my utmost, father. We are closer to becoming nobles of the sword than ever before. The overseer looks upon us with favor. Just a couple more years, and your dream will finally come true. This must be your dream too, Robert. But you still cater to your fondlings, Lydia and Gloria. risking a permanent blemish upon the bronze name, my name. Dead though I may be, my will lives on. Hate it at last. Get rid of that troll up, Gloria, and devote yourself to your true family. Otherwise, you will lead our family to shame and ruin.
Father hesitates for a moment.
No, Father. This is impossible. Even if I must defy your will, I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this, or keep on fighting me for all eternity.
The voice of your deceased ancestor fades away. He seems to have left this realm, but then his voice suddenly booms from the other side of the crypt.
Stephen, you are the heir of this family. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity. Do not take after your spineless father. Do what you must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness.
Stephen is shivering. He replies in an unsteady voice. But, Gloria, I can't. Stephen checks himself. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. You're alone again. You see tears glistening on Stephen's face. Without uttering a word, he goes outside. Father clasps his arms firmly around you. You feel him let out a sigh of sorrow and relief. The vigil is over. $11:40. Just a few days into the year, Meyer Egmonts, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont has the gall to demand that the Magran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What a concept. What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even today, when a certain noble who gets on the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Magra. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equal in its eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The Magran aristocracy is furious with Egmonts and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmonts and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Lenart, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for the subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the empire. Okay, we got a struggle for power, order's going down, wealth is going down. Tough times are coming up for Magra. Or not Magra. What's our place called? Anazot. Oh yeah, it's Magra and Anazot. Anazot is the city, Magra is the province. Yes, okay. The vassal and the lord. It is another day at the prefecture. A secretary peeks into your office with a message from the prefect. There's a new case he wishes you to handle. You put away your quill and walk to Sir Elborn's office. To your surprise, he happens to have another visitor already. There's a graceful figure sitting across from your immediate superior, none other than Octavia Melanidas. After all the times you have met her, In the capital, you expected the Archduke's daughter to be brilliantly, lavishly dressed, but her appearance today is modest and formal, with a high-neck dress and a strict bun. However, her demure attire only serves to emphasize her role as a distinguished visitor to the prefecture. You bow to the prefect and the noble Archnean lady. Octavia offers you a curt greeting, then returns to the conversation you have interrupted. This matter can brook no delay, Baron Elbron. The young judge may well wait outside. Nonetheless, Sir Elborn insists that you come in and take a seat. Why not, Brant? You aren't interrupting at all. Lady Melanius, I was scheduled to meet with Sir Brant at this very hour. I regret to inform you that your visit was perhaps somewhat unfortunately timed. Octavia rises from the soft tie-back chair. The young Archnean lady now stands tall, elegant, and indignant. You are the blind, Sir Elborn. Archduke Melanius has graced you with a representative from his dynasty, and you will listen to what I have to say this instant. The Archduke has expressed concern over your manner of governance at the prefecture. You've always been headstrong and eager to infringe upon the freedoms of your own noble estate. But now it appears you find it acceptable to conduct proceedings against our loyal subjects. Our dynasty has already seen many nobles of the sword arrested or faced with punishment in court. Where will this lead? Do you mean to enforce your lowly laws against us Archneans? Do not forget that those laws were written to keep low-born humans in check. Our lives have always been covered by noble honor and tradition, as well as the blood tide that is our heritage. Our only justice is the court of honor. The only rule above us is that of our sovereign, the Emperor, and the twins. Our only duty is to our kin and our forefathers. My ancestor, Charles Melanius himself, granted the boon of nobility to you humans. It would be most unwise to make me regret his decision of old. In the name of Archduke Melanius, I demand that you end any and all proceedings against our subjects at once. Sir Elborn acknowledges Lady Octavia's vehement speech with a calm smile and nothing else. He shows no trepidation, no tremor, nor fear, even though the lady across from him represents one of the Empire's mightiest dynasties. Lady Melanius, the twins have graced the blessed Archnean lineage with a boon of long life, yet the world can be quick to change at times. Laws of the Empire now govern the nobles of the mantle, and even the nobles of the sword, along with the common estate. This particular change is not as recent as it might seem. The laws of the Empire are the decrees of the Emperor himself, the twins' chosen supreme sovereign. His laws are his will, which is, as you said yourself, the only rule above us. And that means all of us, from highborn Archnean to the lowliest commoner. Presently, the Emperor's representative in our province is Overseer Gaius Tempest. Like this prefecture in its entirety, I am simply obeying the Overseer's will and the laws of the Empire. Then pray tell me, Baron Elborn, who is your own sovereign and protector? He is none other than my father, Archduke Melanius. You swore him an oath of fealty and vassalage. It is your duty to follow his word and will, or do you wish for the Archduke himself to address you directly? I'll tell you, cease this harassment of our loyal noble subjects at once. I will not leave until this order is carried out. Why, Lady Melanius, I'm afraid this is quite impossible. As a servant of the Empire and Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest, it is my duty to enforce the law. Now, if you will excuse me, Sir Brant and I have urgent matters to discuss. The gaze of the Archduke's daughter is locked with the prefects in a silent struggle. Each expects the other to back down first. But then Octavia suddenly turns toward you. But I believe the young judge has more in him than blind obedience. Surely you are able to distinguish a rightful claimant from a threat to the province, are you not? Silence resounds within the prefect's office. They are both waiting for you to speak. I can support Elborn. Octavia would dislike that. Gaius would appreciate it. Augustine would obviously like it, and Melanius would dislike it. I can side with Octavia, which would hurt my justice, although it would improve my relationship with Octavia as well as the Archduke, and Augustine would not appreciate it. Although I have high enough diplomacy to diffuse the situation, and because Octavia's intrigued. And so all this would do is Augustine would like me more. So Octavia knows who you are, and this gives you an opportunity to diffuse the dispute and keep the prefect safe from her ire. Costs a little willpower, but we have plenty of that, so let's do this. You have Lady Octavia's attention now. She may not have shown it in Sir Elborn's presence, but she remembers you from the capital quite well. Skillfully, you take advantage of this connection to reduce the tension. You start by reaffirming her position. Truly, the Archduke has every right to look after his noble subjects. You would never expect an ancient dynasty to abandon the loyal nobles to their fates. Having said that, you shower the Archduke and his noble dynasty with praise, including his brilliant progeny, who has deigned to grace the prefect's office with a visit. You casually mention your encounter with Lady Octavia at the fencing tournament in Eterna. I have to admit, Brante, for a human you fought valiantly indeed. I've witnessed some of the best Arcanian swordmasters at work, and yet your fighting piqued my curiosity. There's a look of relief on Sir Elborn's face as he watches you converse. Still, you return to Octavia's demands. After all, she did not come here for small talk. The Archduke's words carry great weight, but sadly Sir Elborn has no power to decide the matter. After all, he is but a humble servant of the Emperor. Perhaps it would be more prudent to take this matter to the Emperor's overseer, Gaius Tempus, who is also an Arcanian of noble lineage. Just like a moment ago, Octavia winces at the mention of Gaius Tempus. The Emperor's brother took away her noble family's right to represent imperial authority in the province of Magra. Still, the Arcanian lady considers your words well before speaking again. To a certain extent, you are right. Brian Brante, I cannot help but admit it. We Arcanians ought to avoid involving humans in matters of supreme authority. It is still my wish and intention that Sir Elborn present us with an answer, but if he absolutely must learn the will of Gaius Tempus beforehand, so be it. But do not tarry too long with your answer, or you risk angering my father. Octavia rises elegantly from her seat. Before she leaves the prefect's office, her eyes rest on you for a moment. She bats her eyes charmingly and addresses you with a gentle smile, and then she is gone. Elborn pats you on the shoulder, content with the outcome of the interview.
Unbelievable! I never expected you to be acquainted with Octavia Melanidas. My thanks, Brante. You bought me some time. If you hadn't intervened just now, I'd have had to defy the law and end all cases against nobles who serve the Archduke. We'll see what the overseer says about this now. Archduke Melanidas is testing the prefecture with his daughter. Otherwise, he'd have asked me to visit his palace personally. He's showing caution, which means we still stand strong, at least for now. We continue our service to the law without regard for the outmoded ways of the past. But I digress. This is high politics, and the prefecture still has plenty of cases to resolve. Let's get back to our work, shall we? Alright, some affection from Augustin Elborn. With that, Elborn hands you a new case file. You thank the Baron and head back to your office to study it properly. It's time to get back to work. Okay. Only full of power now, so we may want to start thinking about increasing that at some point, but I'm sure an opportunity will present itself. Passion. The repercussions of your most recent encounter with the Archduke's daughter, Octavia, soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Melanidas arrives the next day. Inside the envelope, you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverda, the Archduke's residence. Visiting the Archduke of Magra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask Father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves on the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. Mother watches nervously as you make sure everything is ready for your journey.
This odd invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still a floorboard origin. Arcane attention spells danger to people like us. Every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Melaniduses will grind our family into dust. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Anazote. Takes you a full day to reach Serpenverda, along with the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes on Arcanian traditions and rules of etiquette, again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers that be will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia, with her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Serpenvida, a towering fortification of jet-black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give the signal to open the gates. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You'd expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely emptied. The guards, it's strangely empty. It hasn't been emptied, it's already empty. The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Serpenvida, lavishly adorned with silver, emeralds, and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There's no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet. The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made of black wood. This is your destination. He gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits and ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of blackwood. Upon the throne, you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Melanidus, clad in a black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Arcanian lady bids you approach. You're here at last. Are you surprised, Brian? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to the Arcanian castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls. Portraits of Arcanians with dark eyes and jet-black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that makes you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family? This is a human with the name of Brante. What do you think of him, father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of the Archduke Melanidus. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that, and the tall walls and the innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanidus why she has summoned you. Because you have caught my attention. I noticed you even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. And then I started seeing you again and again. I've caught myself thinking about you quite often. And so I've decided that I wish to possess you. You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one would dare to cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will do with you as I please. Octavia rises from the throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender leg. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Melanidus, used to sit here during the rebellion of Magra. Can you imagine that? Melanidus made decisions that transformed the entire empire, all from this very seat. And now it's gathering dust in this vainglorious art gallery of my father's. Now come to me, human. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Arcanian. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they wanted. If you refuse Octavia, daughter to the Archduke of Magra, you will insult her greatly. If you submit to this Arcane woman, if you become her plaything, everyone will know you are in good graces of Lady Melanidas herself. A human. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? Recall your chance encounters with her from the days of your youth to more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Arcane lady? And what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Would she defy all the traditions of old for you, and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? Well, she does seem kind of defiant towards her father, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe she's got a defiant streak. Maybe she's willing to go against the norms. Who knows? Octavia arches her back on her father's throne and waits for you, her slender hand beckoning you closer. Ooh, we have all the locks unlocked. Wonderful. Okay, so we can submit to her. This requires no effort whatsoever. We gain some reputation. Octavia would become our patron, and she'd like us more. Okay. We can reject her. That takes some willpower, and she'll be scorned, and she'll dislike us. Wow. Or we can insist on being treated as her equal. So why can we do this? Well, because she likes us, and because she's intrigued, so that we actually fulfill both of those conditions. It takes a bit of willpower, and we would grow close. We would gain. She would like us more. I mean, either way, it's kind of scandalous, isn't it? But, practically speaking, she's a, prominent member of one of the most powerful houses in our region. Yeah, like, you don't get an opportunity like this every day. Not to mention, I mean, quite frankly, like, I'm thinking about all of the women we've met up to this point. Because, obviously we probably want to... I assume we probably want to get a partner at some point. And... let's see, we've got the rebel leader. That's all I can think of, really? What even was her name? Sophia, I think? So I think she's the other main option, but I'm not even sure if she's going to show up. Given that we, kind of refused to join the whole, lotless organization. So I'm not even sure what our other options would be aside from her. Aside from Octavia here. We will insist on being treated as her equal. Yeah, we got the achievement Soulmates. And that's got to be a good thing. A good sign, yeah? You give Octavia your answer, looking her straight in the eye. You have been in love with her ever since you were young, enchanted by her beauty and grace. Every chance encounter a treasured memory. And you know that this feeling is mutual. To you, there is no greater honor than Lady Octavia's affection. But you cannot sacrifice your honor as a nobleman for the sake of this love. You do not mean this as an insult. On the contrary, Lady Melanidas is far superior to you. It is true, yet you too are of the noble estate, and you cannot accept humiliation, even if you must face the full extent of the Melanidas ire. You will reciprocate Octavia's affection, not as an obedient plaything, but as a man and a noble. Your impassioned speech ends, and you steel yourself to face her wrath. But to your surprise, Octavia seems lost in thought, her eyes downcast. Nobody denies me. I'm not used to this. You are a remarkable human indeed, Brian Brante. I've noticed this ever since we first met. Your words echo in my heart. You do not follow the usual rules. Any other man would have been groveling at my feet by now. Perhaps you can be my escape from this stifling, sickening world. So be it. I choose a human as my lover. And I care little for what the aristocracy of the twins, forsaken province, has to say about it. I'll take this as far as I like. But you'll be safer if our affair remains a secret to the world. Now come to me, my sweet human. You draw closer to Octavia on the throne. She reaches out for your face, caressing it gently and carefully, as though touching a human for the first time. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck, and her legs lock around your torso. She pulls you closer to her with all her might. You do not resist the Archnean's assault. Her embrace leads you to the throne. So, how do you like the seat of the great chair, Melanidas? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable too, but luckily it's spacious enough for the two of us. Octavia's ravenous lips find yours as her hands free you from your fashionable attire, her entire body shivering with excitement. You caress her skin, tender and azure. You commit her to memory, stuttering her, trying to understand her. Octavia's eyes are dark as starless sky, sparkling with delight from your sweet transgression. Well, why does she seek this pleasure with you? Why would she humiliate her ancestors and her very dynasty by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia gently pulls your head up by the chin. She kisses you passionately, and her lips start moving down your half-naked body. Her inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you until the vast throne room of the Melanidas dynasty echoes with the last of her ecstatic moans. Then there is silence, save for the sound of your heavy breathing. Octavia caresses your back slowly, then playfully pushes you off the throne. The Archneans watch you from the portraits, their faces as dispassionate as ever. Octavia returns to you at dawn, now wearing a modest black dress, her hair in a formal bun. It is time for you to leave, Brian. The Archduke will return to the castle soon. I will visit Anazote now and again. Several estates there belong to me. We will meet there, safe from prying eyes. You leave Serpentveda with your head spinning and your heart racing. The day it takes to return to Anazote passes like a single moment. When your family asks you about your visit to the Archduke, you evade the question. From that day forth, your heart aches sweetly yearning for Octavia's letters, and when it is time for a brief tryst, the two of you disappear to one of her estates and give in to your secret passion. There are days when your love and your lover seem but an illusion, something gone forever, but soon another note arrives and the affair continues, only to be cut short again for an unknown time. You have stolen the heart of the most beautiful and high-born Archnean lady of Magra. Only one nagging thought casts a shadow on your love. What will be the price for this insolence? We have grown close. Your relationship with Octavia Melanidas has become romantic. Your encounters are rare, yet passionate. Okay, well. It took a bit of willpower to do that, but you know. I guess it worked out. An affair with Octavia. You have started an affair with the daughter of the Archduke Melanidas. Well, hopefully it works out.